Hey, what's up, Warsong? I'm Richie, one of the admins at the Warsong LARP Brisbane, and I am Officer of the Law. That's L-O-R-E, not L-A-W. Why am I here? Why am I talking to you? Why are you watching this? After the last Games Day, Tales from the Rift, we did have a couple of reoccurring questions, and since we've got a games weekend coming up in October called The Hills Have Eyes, to give you some tips on how to better enjoy your games days, get some of those questions together and answer them for you here now. So sit back, relax, here's some questions, or some answers to some questions to help you enjoy your games weekend at the Warsong LARP Brisbane.
Hi, I'm Song, and this...
Thank you, Song. All right, to our first question. The question basically boils down to is, where can I start a quest? It can be confusing, especially for new players. So we're going to run down a couple of ideas on where you could possibly go to start quests. Number one is the Noticeboard, otherwise known as the quest board. But you can put notices up there that aren't quests, so hence we call it the Noticeboard. There are pins, paper on the notice board. You can go up to that, you can find a quest, you could be like, that looks good. Or you could be like, I don't want to do that. Or you could be like, hey, that looks cool. Or hey, someone wants to be hired for money. Either way, notice board is a great place to start quests. Next place for a quest, you may have heard us talk about this in the briefing. We've talked about it online. We've talked about it in the past as an idea that's coming up. But one of the things that we're doing from now on is a town mayor. At the moment, it's Ricky from the Brewers Guild who plays Nathaniel. He is running as our current town mayor, and unless he is overthrown, it will continue to be him, so vote for who you want for mayor. If he's overthrown, it will be a player, and it will be an ongoing vote, player-driven mechanic. The mayor will be given the job of doing a few things. They will also have a list with them of different quests that people can go on. So if you're looking for something to do, if you're looking for a quest, town mayor, another good place to check that out. NPCs. NPCs run games days. They are the reason you're there most of the time. They will have information, they will have story, they will have plot, they will have side quests. They are loaded with stuff to do, more so than others. But yeah, that can be a trial and error thing. If the first don't succeed with the first NPC, give it a try at a second and see how you go. But NPCs are definitely a good place to get quests from. This may seem a bit weird, but other warbands. Seriously, every warband that comes brings something with them. They want to engage with as many people as possible, so talking to warband leaders, talking to warbands, even out of game, going, I'm looking for something to do. Would your warband have something to do? They can point you in the direction of something to do. I can't think of a single warband that doesn't bring something to do at games days. So definitely, especially if you're not into the big story, talk to a warband. You'd be surprised what you come up with. Will games day be broken if someone hoards an important quest item? The easiest answer for that is no. Games days have a plan. They have a structure and an idea of where they're going. They have multiple endings most of the time. So at the very least, there's a succeed or fail option. 9 times out of 10, there is a lot of in-betweens in that. So there's always someone running a games day. It's usually one of the NPCs who helped create a lot of it, and they will have control over what is happening. If an important games day item goes missing, if a player is hoarding it, or if, say, I don't know, a lizard grabs it and takes off into the woods with it, the games day does not come to a crashing halt. We have sub-plans in place, and we can think and work on the fly to get around issues like that. So 9 times out of 10, it may slow down proceedings a little bit, but it will not have a big effect over the course of the whole games day. So don't fret, don't worry. If something goes missing, or if someone's hiding something and they don't particularly want to part with it, the games day will continue. It's not going to all stop and everyone stand there and be like, give the thing up. It's not going to happen. Couple of things to touch on that. Huge reminder, if you're not on a quest, don't touch the item. Can't say this enough, happens every games day without fail. Someone will bring something up and go, I found this, what does it do? I found this, what does it do? I go, it's a pen, I dropped it, give it back. Or they go, no, I found this and it was attached to a note that said it's magical, what do I do with it? And I go, well, you go put it back where you found it, because unless someone has requested it, unless you found a note that says, get me a magical rope, unless the mayor has gone, hey, can you find me a magical rope? Unless an NPC is like, we need a magical rope, then for sure you should have left it where you found it, and someone else is actually probably looking for it currently. So yeah, if you're not on a specific quest, don't touch an item. If you see something and you're like, I don't know if that's for a quest or not, just don't touch it. If you don't know, leave it alone. Pretty simple. Another thing to touch on is the importance of quest items. This feeds more into the question. They're only as valuable as the value given to them on the day. They might be told that, hey, you can take one home and it'll come in handy later. That's totally fine. That can be a reoccurring thing. But if you've taken something, no one knows you have it. You're technically hoarding that item because you think it might be valuable later. The admin team might actually think that a lizard has grabbed it and run off with it. And they'll either make a copy to replace it, or they'll just write it out of the story altogether, because we can't have like the game come to a grinding halt. We need things to have ends, strings, to have tethers, closure, all that sort of stuff. And we try to present that as best we can. So again, there's no real reason to hoard an item on games day. If you're keeping it from other players, that's fine. But yeah, eventually, either that day or that weekend, it's probably going to be important for that games weekend. If not, you'll probably be told that this does nothing now, but later it might do something. I would hold on to that. Yeah, so just two things to keep in mind about that. Hope that answers your question. I don't want to participate in main quest lines. What else can I do? This is a valid question, because sometimes story-driven stuff, it can seem huge and you're like, I don't know where to jump in on this. I don't want to get involved in case I stuff something up. This is not for me. Totally cool. That is fine. There are tons of places to get quests, as I mentioned before, but I've got a list here, so let me just run you through some things. So if you're not even wanting to quest, I cover that as well. So first up, there is the Brewers Guild, a favorite place of many people. At the very least, you could just hang out and drink and talk to people. You don't want to do quests? That's a cool place to hang out and meet people and get involved with things. Secondly, they have quests that aren't tied to the main quest. So if you're looking for something to do, they will happily pay you in brewers tokens or drinks to go complete a task for them. Next up is the Hunters Guild. When the Hunters Guild is available on games weekends, they will have stuff to do. It is 9 times out of 10 not attached to an overarching storyline that the admin have put together. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you may get sideswiped by that. But most of the time, they will just have simple quests for you. In fact, if you just out of character be like, I don't want to participate in the main storyline, can you give me something to do? They'll be like, yeah, dude, I got you covered. Town Guard. Be a town guard. Volunteer for duty as a town guard. From what I've seen, they don't just stand around guarding stuff. They get into all sorts of shenanigans. So that is definitely something to check out. They also have quests. If you're looking for something to do, you want to go on a quest that's not attached to the main storyline, just like the Hunters Guild, 9 times out of 10, they will have stuff for you to do that doesn't involve admin-driven main story. Other warbands, as mentioned previously, other warbands have quests of their own to do. Also, just a great point of contact to establish some sort of relationship connection, get involved with people, get up to mischief with people, make friends, enemies, go on quests if you want. A lot of them aren't tied to the main story either. The other warbands are just there to have fun. They bring content. If you want to participate in that content, they would probably be more than happy to have you along for it. Noticeboard, as mentioned before, Noticeboard is covered in notices, not just the stuff the admin puts there. People are free to put whatever they like on the Noticeboard, and they do. The Noticeboard is always full at the end of a games weekend, just like caked in stuff. Some of it's funny and incidental, but there's a lot of stuff to do there, so definitely check out the Noticeboard. You could test your skills against a creature. There are a lot of NPCs out there, combat-driven. Sometimes they're not combat-driven, doesn't matter. You can challenge them to a fight if you like. If you're just in it for the biff, you don't want to go questing, you don't want to create relationships, relationships. You don't want to hang out at the bar. You don't want to get something to eat. You don't want to have a beer town guide. You just want to go out there and biff something. There will be something out there for you to fight. And if you threaten it enough, it will fight back. Sometimes talking to it nicely and it'll fight back. What else could you could start a fighting pit. Just, there was talks of a fighters guild, something along those lines, but that's not a thing yet. So by all means, if you just picked out an area and you want to challenge people to fighting, do it. Nothing's stopping you whatsoever. Just follow the normal Warsong rules. You can challenge people to friendly fights, first to 3 hits, no deaths, just fake weapons. Whatever you want to do, you can create your own fun in a corner if that would make you happy. You could read some lore at the library with some scrolls. So we now have a library in the Brewers Guild tent. It is run by Kenna. And she has a ton of scrolls containing a lot of useful and some not very useful information. Whether you want to read that or not, totally up to you. So if you just want to kick back, learn some stuff, definitely a place to check out on the games day/weekend. I think that is a ton of stuff. There's probably more, to be honest with you. I'm not even kidding. There's so much to do. Can we start early and finish later? It seems like a good idea, doesn't it? Starting early, finishing later. Problem with that is we already start super early. I know it says 10 to 10:30 start times on the days, but when you consider setting up a town and as an admin, seeding all the day's events out there. For instance, for the 1-day event, Tales from the Rift, I was there at 6:30 in the morning setting up equipment. I wasn't finished until like 9:45. And then I had to get into kit and be ready to go. So like we are utilizing as much time in the morning as we can. The other idea about that is renting the land the night before and setting up the day before and like leaving the stuff out overnight so it's ready to go the next morning. That comes with a couple of problems. First being monetary. We have to rent the land for a whole night that no one's technically using it. Secondly, leaving stuff overnight, especially some stuff, it can just get destroyed or wild animals can run away with it. And I mean, we do have to do a double check in the morning, so you're not really saving a whole lot of time. So that does make it, especially the monetary reason for renting a place for a whole night just to set up can become quite costly. All right, so why don't we run later? That's an easy one. Packing down in the dark sucks. Last games day, we finished at, I think it was like 3:30, and then people were still in character till about 4:30, and then we started packing down, and it got dark at like 5:45. So what took like 2 to 3 hours to set up the town was just demolished in like 45 minutes to try and get it down before the sun went down. Because honestly, in the dark is how things get lost. In the dark is how people get hurt. It's not preferable. The idea around that would be maybe we could, well, in summer, the days are going to be longer. So it's definitely a possibility playing for longer with the longer daylight hours. That would be a big help. The other possibility being that we could stay an extra night and camp over and then pack up the day after. That then turns a single day event at a decent price into an overnight camping event where you only get 1 day of content and Sunday's just a pack up day, and it costs a bit more money. Again, monetary issues, and that would cost you guys more money to come to those events, even though the nighttime and the next day isn't really anything Warsong related, it's just camping. So if it's something you guys want to do and it's something you guys are like, oh, we don't mind paying the extra to camp a night if we get to pack up the next day and such, yeah, we can look into it. We can start a poll. We can see who's interested, see if it's worth doing. All right, thank you very much for watching this video. I've been Richie, Officer of the Law. If you have any questions, chuck them in below. If you want to start a poll about see how popular some of these ideas thrown around can be, then be my guest. We're all for feedback. Again, this was generated from the feedback from the last games day. I hope we've answered some of your questions and helped you enjoy the games weekend to come in October. Get hyped! The hills have eyes, people. The hills have eyes. All right, peace.